Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Ken, and today we're here to review the latest horror film in the theaters.
Companion. We're supposed to say it
I didn't know you
together
wanted me to say it at the same time
At the same time. You know, because we're companions.
We are companions.
Right?
Yeah, this is kind of, I guess, an early Valentine's Day thriller. I mean, there's another Valentine's Day horror movie coming. They're coming at us with the love-themed horror films. But yeah, we're talking about Companion here today. We just saw that in the theaters. 2 movies this year that we've seen in the theaters already. We're doing pretty good. Before we get into talking about it, guys, we want to ask that if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please help us out. Hit the subscribe button. We are like 10 subscribers away from 4,000?
We're so close.
We're inching there. We can taste it.
Make that dream a reality for me, please. Yeah. I'm begging you.
Yeah, hit the subscribe button.
Also, like this video.
Like the video. And
also...
Okay, go ahead.
Go check out our podcast.
Oh, yeah.
If you didn't know, we just started a podcast. We have 2 episodes out currently. Those episodes are also on this channel. But if you would prefer to listen to it on a streaming or a podcast platform like Spotify or Apple Podcast, they're on there as well.
Yep, absolutely.
Gotta give a little plug.
And then if you saw a Companion in the theaters, let us know your thoughts. Let us know if you're going to see it. I do want to say, before we get into talking about this movie,
yes,
there's a lot of stuff going around about the spoilers. Did the trailer reveal too much? Do we know too much about the film? I want to get into that a little bit, but we're not trying to spoil the entire movie or anything, but there are details about this movie that makes it impossible to talk about without spoiling certain aspects. So if you don't want to know anything about this film, then maybe don't watch the review.
That is right. Yeah.
Maybe just subscribe, go see it, and then come back and watch it.
Well, yeah, also give it a like.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is your warning to back out now if you do not want to know anything about this movie.
Yeah, again, we're not going to aim to spoil specific plot moments, but literally the synopsis of this film, some people are considering a spoiler.
Yeah.
So, all right, so Companion,
yeah.
I guess we can just get into our rough thoughts on it. What did you think of this movie?
Yeah, so this movie, I was honestly pretty excited to see.
Yep.
I just love sci-fi type movies. It just seemed like my type of movie. And so, yeah, overall, I was excited to see this. And I'll just say that I feel like a lot, regardless of people complaining about spoilers and stuff, I still feel like most people are saying that this movie is really great.
Yeah. And that's the general consensus.
Unfortunately, I don't know if I can agree with that. I feel like it was good, but I don't know. I going back to the spoilers, I feel like they just gave too much away, and so for me, there was just no element of surprise with this movie.
And you even saying that it's a sci-fi movie,
yeah,
which you knew going in, that would imply certain things that, again, some people are considering spoilers.
Yeah.
I thought it was a fun movie. I enjoyed it. It was nothing special, and it wasn't anything that I'd never seen before. It felt very reminiscent of a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Look, guys, again, we're going to spoil things. It's about AI. It's about robots.
Right.
The girl is actually a robot. Something happens. There's a big thing that happens at the beginning of this movie, and they have to figure out how to clean up the mess that the robot causes.
Yeah.
So that's really as far as I want to go as far as plot details, but yeah, it's about AI, so it's that kind of story.
Yeah, I feel like, I think we've kind of talked about how we are going to do a whole video on, trailers and spoilers in general. Promotional stuff for the movies or whatever. But I just feel like for me personally, I feel like they missed the opportunity to somehow promote this in a different way. I feel like the plot, to me, I feel like the plot that is given away should have been something that was kept unknown, and I feel like it would have worked a lot better for me personally.
And it's not just the trailer. People are complaining about the second trailer, revealing stuff. It's literally
big
implied.
Scenes, big moments.
It's implied on the poster.
Yeah.
You got her with the white eyes.
Yeah.
It's what's that supposed to say? And also, when we were looking it up on IMDb, It's in the synopsis of the film.
Right.
That she's an AI. So, but that just goes back to the question, what did they even want it to be a surprise? Like, was this just the setup and then we were just supposed to come in and accept the movie for what it was?
Right.
Was it supposed to be a reveal? And if they didn't mean it to be a reveal, then was it wrong for the trailers to spoil it? I guess is kind of I think this discussion has like a lot of nuance to it other than they just spoiled the movie.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they had to have known that they were spoiling it.
We had an example of this last year with Abigail. Like, she's a vampire, but when you're watching the movie, you don't find out she's like definitively a vampire until like halfway through the movie, but you know it going in because they marketed the movie around that.
Right.
So it's like, is it just our expectations of what we think it should be and we wanted to be surprised by it, or should we just accept what the filmmakers intended?
Yeah.
But also, what did they intend? We don't really know.
Yeah. For me, I think that having known that she is, a companion, a sex bot of sorts.
Yeah. He lovingly calls her an F-bot.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
Yeah. So having known that, I don't know, like when you get into the movie, like I just feel like knowing that about the movie, there was just no element of surprise. I don't know. It just felt like, because I feel like, there are lots of movies where there might not be this big, we watch like dramas and stuff. Like maybe there's not this big like surprise or whatever. But I feel like for this type of movie, it's kind of like a requirement, if you will.
Yeah.
And so I really wish that they had somehow kept it a surprise that she was a bot. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. The movie is, after that kind of reveal, again, if you want to call it that, because you knew it going in.
It's pretty standard.
It's pretty standard and it's pretty predictable. And again, this goes back to what I said. It feels very reminiscent, almost derivative of a lot of other stuff that's come before it. Like, you can almost call and predict like everything that's going to happen in the movie. If you've seen like a lot of these other types of like AI robot films.
Yeah, and to me, it feels like this movie thinks that it's being original, but to me it's not. And so we were kind of having this discussion coming home after the movie about how, maybe if we were younger and we hadn't seen a lot of stuff, older stuff, from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, whatever, even 70s, you said, maybe we would have thought, oh my gosh, this is crazy. This is wild. I've never seen anything like this before. But to us, to me, it felt like, honestly, it felt like a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say, like, not even counting the staples like Terminator, RoboCop, Blade Runner, like movies like that, Westworld. Like, we're big fans of Black Mirror, and that show's got, like, 6 seasons, and we've seen them all. And it's like a lot of
they're all very, like, sci-fi.
They're very deep sci-fi, almost dramas, like some of them. Yeah. And they really go for those, like, high, like, thematic elements. I feel like that this movie attempts to go for, but it just ends up feeling very shallow.
Yeah.
Compared to some of those, like, episodes. Like, there was literally an episode of Black Mirror that was kind of similar to this, like in the first or second season.
Yeah.
And this was like back in 2011 or 2012.
Yeah. And I do feel like this movie tried to mix, some humor in here, which is pretty common with horror movies, I feel like. But, again, I don't know if it's our age or just like our personal like humor preference or whatever, but to me it just wasn't like, the stuff didn't really land with me. I didn't think it was that funny. Like, there's a scene where she says, "It's not you, it's me," and it's supposed to be funny that she's saying that because she's a bot.
Yeah.
And then like there's some other thing, I don't know, just the humor didn't really work for me. It felt a little corny or just lame, I don't know, and not in a good way, which, horror movies are known for being kind of corny.
Yeah.
Campy, whatever. But I don't.
In a lot of ways, that's a part of their charm. But
yeah, I feel like this one, though, was trying to be. This movie felt like it was trying to be kind of like a higher class of horror. Like very. I don't know, just artistic, It did have some, like. I did like the aesthetic, I guess, or just like the look of it. I really liked like the intro, how they had like the companion kind of floating in the sky in the intro or whatever.
Even that, though, is kind of, just reminiscent or repetitive. Like, I feel like we've seen that a lot recently in movies. Like, they'll put the font in the sky to, like, be creative. And it's like, that's maybe, like, the 10th time I've seen that from a new movie in the past year. It feels like.
Yeah.
So it's cool every time. Like, I like the aesthetic of it, but it is something I've seen a lot before.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think let's maybe talk about performances a little bit. We do have, what's her name?
Sophie Thatcher.
Sophie Thatcher.
Just in Heretic, which we just watched that. So we literally watched 2 of her movies, like, back to back.
Back to back, it just so happens. Yeah. And so, she is playing the bot, and
she's good.
I feel like you like her more than I do.
She's fine. I don't think she's great. Like, going back to the Heretic, we didn't do an official review of that, but I thought the other girl was better in the film.
Well, see,
she also had more to do than her character. I think she did a lot more with like her facial acting and stuff, and she kind of brings that to this as well.
Well, to me, I've literally only seen her in 2 things. Apparently she is in the show Yellow Jackets, which we have started, but I think we watched like 1 episode. She has this what do you call the girl, like, I don't know what time era it is, like 60s or something. The way that her hair is, she has like this like shorter, she looks like one of those like go-go girls or something. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
No, you don't.
They could have dressed her like a fembot from Austin Powers. Those were in the 60s.
Yeah, she just has like that kind of look to me. I don't know. Anyway, without going on too long, we have, what is his name? Jack Quaid, Randy. Nepo
not
baby.
Randy Quaid, but, God, what is his
name?
Quaid. Dennis Quaid. Yeah, he was just in the
Who are you talking about?
I want to like Jack Quaid. Like, I've seen him in interviews and stuff like that, and it's like, I want to like him, but then, like, pretty much everything I've seen him in.
Yeah.
I just never, like, love his character.
Yeah.
In anything. And you're not really supposed to like him in this movie, but, like, he was in Scream. I didn't really like him that much in there. The Boys, he's, like, maybe the least interesting character in that whole show.
Oh.
That's, like,
his
big thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, but I want to like him, but I just don't end up liking his character, like, ever in any movie.
Yeah.
So, but he's fine. He's whatever. I didn't like him at all, but he's fine.
Yeah, there you go. I'm not sure how I feel about him either. There's something about him that's kind of annoying. I don't know if it is because he is a Nepo baby. But yeah, other than that, everybody else was just very, fun. It just felt kind of like, maybe like similar humor to Bodies, Bodies, Bodies almost, where it tries to mix like the more serious with the silly, and also like trying to wrap in like the time era that we're in, which this is supposed to be set in the future. You can tell that because of like the different vehicles and stuff that are around. And
and that just goes into like my other problem with this. It's like this kind of stuff, like these stories are getting old. Mm-hmm. I feel like for this particular time period era that we're living in right now, because like this stuff's almost a reality right now. Mm-hmm. Like you could totally buy that they're making bots like this now in 2025. And cars are driving themselves. So this stuff doesn't even feel like futuristic anymore. It feels like it's literally on our doorstep, when like they were making stuff like this, even back in like 2012, like it just felt like a long way away.
Yeah.
And especially back in the 70s and 80s and 90s when they were making this kind of stuff. So it feels not even sci-fi. It just kind of feels like reality.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And another thing that I just want to quickly say too is I don't feel like the pacing was right in this movie.
No.
To me, it felt like a slow start. I was kind of like, okay, can we like do something? Like, I don't know. The pacing was off for me. I feel like it probably could have been shorter.
There's no like escalation. It's just like, all right, something big happens, and then they just kind of meander around for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then they close
to give
it.
Us
then they close it out and give us some kind of like half-ass finale.
Yeah.
I feel like we're being extremely negative on this film.
Yeah.
And I don't think deserves like total negativity. Like at the end of the day, like I would recommend it. Like it's kind of a fun movie to watch.
Yeah.
I would not recommend going to the theaters to see it. Like maybe catch it on streaming. But
right.
it's fine. It's nothing great though.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it is kind of unfortunate, this happens time and time again where you're really looking forward to something and everyone's really hyping it up, and then you're just kind of like, I don't know,
Yeah.
So it's probably our bad, but that's just how I'm feeling.
It's another one of those movies that comes out and they're like, Rotten Tomatoes 97%,
right.
Which I said, like, I could see it having a 97%. Like, it's an enjoyable, fun movie for the most part. I could see coming out of that be like, yeah, that was pretty good, giving it a positive rating. I think that's what most critics did.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's like anything mind-blowing. Honestly, like, I think the Wolfman was more interesting than this film.
Oh.
And that wasn't necessarily a great movie either. Not a great start to 2025 for us, I don't feel like.
But yeah, I guess that's gonna do it.
Yep.
Like I said, be on the lookout for a video where we talk about trailers and spoilers and just all the fun stuff in the movie community that can make it hard for enjoying a movie.
Yeah, because they did show about 12 trailers before this one, and there's definitely stuff to say about what they're doing with trailers now in 2025. But thank y'all so much for watching. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave us a comment down below if you would. And we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.